Oh,
Two. Cool. There we go. hmm
Hello?
Oh, hold on, man. Just waiting for our internet connection to come in, and it's here.
Today on the Education Reckoning, we sit with Omar Bradley
Yeah.
and Congresswoman Proudie,
Yeah.
the now former Secretary of Education, a visionary leader who presented Congress with one of the most ambitious, culturally grounded, and economically vital education agendas in decades. But instead of funding it, they wanted to fund the entire department, perhaps remove it altogether. Why? Fear of change, fear of innovations, fear of AI. And today you're going to hear what they threw away. This isn't just about politics. This is about kids, about your kids, about America.
About
How y'all
America.
doing today, Omar Bradley and Congresswoman Proudie?
Ladies first.
Hello?
How you
Hello,
doing?
it's the Congresswoman.
How you doing, Casey? Well, Casey, yesterday you spoke to me. Now we're gonna have the Congresswoman who wrote an amazing bill, an amazing House resolution to keep the Department of Education to give public schools funding in areas where it was needed. And again, Congress on both sides, for my belief, is against fighting against our bills and our policy to keep the Department of Education. And instead of saying it's so bad, we use it to weaponize it against the stupid bureaucracy that have been pushed inside of it. We need to get the wokeness out. Go ahead, Congresswoman. Tell us what your plan was. Tell us what the bill was.
What I have to say is how dare y'all? How dare you all just sit there and try to abolish our Department of Education? Let me tell you what they talk about in Virginia 4th District. They talk about how they don't have books to write their name on. They talk about how they have to write their names on the test. That's what they talk about in my district. In my district, they don't talk about buying boats. Look at me, I'm black. I don't know how to swim.
Mm-hmm. You
They
you.
don't talk about buying boats. They talk about those things. And my bill was to have all kids equally get all that they need to have a successful learning opportunity.
Correct.
I have seen many kids dim their light because the state, I mean, the country can't give them what they need. The state, the county, the everything. So they just can't give them what they need. And I just want to say, how dare y'all? I talked to a young lady. I talked to a young lady earlier today. She was telling me how she needed a computer to do an essay of hers when she was, trying to do her essay for her class. And then she said all of a sudden, she got her tools. And she told me I had to, she told me I had to take an old shirt and put it in my drawers
Mm.
to use it as to use it as a test. Because because she had to use the other money that she had to buy her computer. Now, see, that's sad. That's sad. I just want to say, how dare y'all? Because DAR is not one. Y'all can do everything else, but you choose to demolish Department of Education, and it's sad. And then when I present my bill, the Attorney General want to turn it over. Let me tell you something, because I would hate to have to turn you over. I would hate to have to table you. Okay? Because let's keep it real. You ain't doing your job either. Because if you were doing your job, you would tell the president straight to his face, like I did in my press conference, that he is incompetent. And I will say that as many times as it takes for people to get that in their head, especially my Republican colleagues, because they act like when they see a dog, it's like they see a cat. So in their mind, they see the president and they see the greatest thing in the world.
All right.
And it's not adding up. It's not adding up. I'm confused. So, and that's why I just want, I don't care what they do. I don't care what the country says, as long as we support our kids. Because it's unacceptable of how many kids have been through the same situation that that young lady had with us. All right? Now that's what I have to say.
Now, I agree with everything you said, Congresswoman. I spoke on a podcast yesterday about multiple young people from Baton Rouge to Mississippi. I didn't speak about the young child from Florida who has a similar situation to you, right? Instead of being able to purchase the books that he needed, which the state was you're supposed to pay for, he had to take money out of his mother's hands. His mother has 6 kids. 6 kids had to take money out of her hands to go buy books the state was supposed to give. You understand? And Florida is one of the is a state from my statistics, I believe, that was not very high or rather low on the education rate. Right? It's up there with Louisiana having a very low education rate. And we want to take that away from these young kids. The agenda that I pushed, your bill, it was great for the country. It would have been amazing. I'm sure you read some of my agenda. I haven't seen your bill yet. If you can send that on over to my email. But my agenda, it basically promoted everything that you wanted, right? Public, free food for the kids and public education. We were going to send programs to teach kids how to read. We were going to be able to, if you would have brought that idea, that story up to me, we could have put tampons in female bathrooms, took the roaches out, but kept the common thing that we needed here to take care of our kids. Because guess what? When me and you die, they're replacing us. And the way we treat them is how they're going to treat us when we're sitting in a nursing home. We don't care about those old people they'll say. They didn't treat us right. This is why voting is going so far down. Because they see that us as congressmen, as secretaries, as congresswomen aren't doing anything. But see, when me and you try to bring changes to black people, right, from the South, right, who didn't have it like these rich white folk from Washington State, from Pennsylvania and stuff. When we try to bring that to them, they look down on us, right? Because they have an education system that works, an education system that allows them to do what they need to do to get those kids. They got private schools that cost up to $10,000, right? When public school is free, and they're sometimes underfunded. And I'm sure me and your bill, or your agenda, my agenda, your bill would have helped out with that problem, right? My agenda brought in the Department of Homeland Security to look into gangs in areas where we could have got these kids some resources, right? The Department of Agriculture, the United States Drug and Food Administration, right? To give these kids better food options and teach them to make sure that they were being fed correctly, right? We had the Department of Defense was in the agenda to speak with them about giving these kids early enlistment readiness programs. We'll give them those bonuses. They go during the summer, come back to fall to finish their academic studies, and go into service. We wanted these kids off the streets, right? So they could fend for themselves, but also take care of their families. Because jobs, and especially in black America, have gone down. And you can blame it on presidents, but really it starts in the school. Right, right, Congresswoman? It starts in the school.
Right, it starts in the school. And if it doesn't start in the school, that's why we have bombs. Bombs on the street. And it kills you because it's sad. And then you want to sit up there in a high office. You don't care about that girl who put shirts up in her drawers. You don't care. You just want to sit there and take in all the glory. And let me tell you something. The only reason that the Republicans have the House is because the president is a Republican. But when we get a Democratic president, everyone's going to switch over. Everyone's going to switch to here.
People pleasers.
There. Exactly. And you just a Republican. You know you're not.
I am a Republican.
A Republican. Oh.
I'm a Republican. But let me tell you about my views and the current Republican views are not the same at all. This party does not have the views of real Republicans at all. The real Republican Party cares about the American people. But right now I'm sitting at the Democratic Party. It's the party that's actually doing something to keep it. There is no reason that any Republican should want to be removing the Department of Education when there was an agenda, a secretary who had the ability to push it into a better direction. Right? But they didn't want to hear that. They didn't even come talk to me. They didn't even come speak to me at all. They said, hey, Let's going to retract this nomination. We're going to say F the Department of Education. We're going to abolish it, give it back to the states, which I don't have a problem with. Majority of the department that I was going to do was going to cut it down. Majority of the, like for instance, why are we dealing with money? The Department of Treasury is set up to deal with the money. Why do we ask the Department of Treasury for money to give us, to give to them, when they could just cut us out, get the money from the Department of Treasury, and we focus our priorities on education?
Right.
That's our
Right.
problem now, that there's too much bureaucracy inside of these departments. Cut the middleman and go straight to the source. And that's what my plan was, and I think that's what they fear. Because money's getting lost somewhere. Our budget is $200 billion. I only asked for 11.6 billion. And that's, I could take that out of the budget of the department. But yet
And
again,
see,
go ahead, Congresswoman.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this quick thing. And see, the crazy thing to me, the crazy thing to me, this is something, they're saying, the Republican Party is saying that we don't do anything about the Democrats, about the student education and things like that. But keep in mind, they're the same body who wants senior citizens to work so they can file taxes.
And
Be so for real.
and that's unacceptable, right? Like I said, when you looked at my agendas, Congresswoman, we put in there that we were going to have these kids working directly out of high school. They were going to have jobs. We were going to give them opportunities to learn trades where they could have went and retired 65-year-olds, where their grandfathers didn't have to work another day in their life. But yet, they didn't want that. That was such an American pro agenda, right? That was such like the previous President Donald Trump agenda right there, President Ronald Reagan's agenda right there. And I know you're a Democrat, but I'm sure that these views right here of we should put our views aside for a second and understand America needs to come first. Why do we have 65-year-olds working at McDonald's? That's a high school teenager job. That I should not see a 70-year-old working as a greeter at Walmart,
Right.
right?
Uh, it's so sad because we have people after people after people. And you know that the thing about it is because when the girl was telling me, she started breaking down in tears. And I said, baby, I'm gonna get you some new. I'm sorry, it's just so emotional to me.
Mm.
Said, baby, not only am I gonna pay and hold up, let's do it for a second right there. This body or that body, the Republican Party, can go and see that I'm the one. Keep in mind now, I'm the one who clears out my campaign budget to go to do Meals on Wheels for the homeless, Meals on Wheels for people in poverty. For people in poverty. But they want to say, oh, you're not doing like then you do. But see, they're quick to criticize, but not quick to fix the problem. And that's where something needs to stop. I don't just see myself as the best representative in the House of Representatives, but I see myself up there because I'm actually trying to do something for the American people, unlike other representatives who just want the money, who just want the title. But I am the only one, and you can search this up. I am the only one who cleared out my campaign budget to do Meals on Wheels for people in poverty. Now, if the Republicans had a problem with, people poverty in their district, they would have, did something they would not, I'm sorry, they would not have done anything to help them with it. They're worried about people with the votes. And see, the crazy thing about it, because I'm getting upset now, and I have to turn it over to you, but I'm getting upset because I'm thinking about the Republican Party, well, my Republican Party, my Republican political party, that I'm getting upset now because it amazes me on how they are the ones who say, oh, y'all are not doing this, y'all are not doing this. But what are you going to do? Okay? Yeah, you may have to fold some bills. Yeah, that doesn't mean you're right. You're criticizing me because I'm doing something for the American people, but you get mad when I try to criticize you in general chat. Make it look funny.
Mm.
You get mad when I try to embarrass you in general chat. Make it look funny. You get mad when you only produce 4 bills and I produce at least 5 or 6 bills in the up in this week. Matter of fact, I got this guy. Let me see. Our first house session was yesterday. I just joined the House of Representatives. I'm sorry. First house session was today. I just joined the House of Representatives yesterday. Do the math. How many bills do I have?
Mm.
But you got the nerve to get upset with me because I'm actually doing something to help the American people, just like this, just like one of my bills. Oh, try not to get upset. Just like one of my bills. I have a bill that's been sitting in drafts. We're going to publish it soon. But I have a bill that says for youth business plan. So our kids, so our students can be able to set up businesses and get a grant and pay it back when their businesses are doing well. If they flop, oh well. It'll come for my district. It'll come out of my campaign dollars. But see, a Republican representative will equip my students. And that's the part that makes me mad. You say you want this, that, and the third. You say you just want to make America great again, but your actions are not making America great again. And
Uh,
that's all.
All right. Casey.
a lot of what both sides here, and I just had a couple questions, morely for the Congresswoman. So Congresswoman,
Go ahead.
can you two honestly say you will be willing to work side by side to rewrite this proposal and relaunch it if you get this chance again?
Oh, baby, I will have you know I'm probably going to introduce an impeachment bill, but yes, I will be open to doing that.
That's good. That's good. So you both seen kids. This will have helped. You met their families and friends. What do you
Right.
say to them now?
What I say to them, just wait your turn, baby. Change is coming. You won't have to, have that situation with your draws anymore because I'm going to make it better. I don't care if I have to sell my home. I don't care if I have to sell the last clothes on my back. I'm going to make sure I get what's right for the American people.
So from the previous podcast and entertainment center, spoke with Omar Bradley. He mentioned that he wanted the kids to be in the center of this. What do you think about that? Are you going to be leading right by side with him, or are you
Oh,
just going to help fix his plan and move on to your goals and your beneficial?
oh no. My goal, my number one goal is to see the kids succeed first. Because, if you think about it, they're the future of America. So I want to see them succeed first. That's my number one goal. So if you think about it, I will be continue to pursue that goal. But yeah, the crazy thing, yeah, I'm just like, because I don't want to say nothing. Yep, yep, yeah.
Okay, okay. Most people wants to know, is this really about control here, or like who gets the credit? Who gets the oversight of this? What is the benefiting of you going this long just to fight for something that might not get a chance again? So who gets the oversight here?
So in my vision, let me tell you the person who gets the oversight. The person who gets the oversight is God, to me at least.
Oh, Jesus
But if
Christ.
we're talking about, you can Jesus Christ all you want, you're in the audience, I'm on the podcast. Think again. Next, okay,
Oh, no.
let me continue. Me personally, representative, whether Republican or Democratic, I feel like there shouldn't be someone who gets the oversight because it's not something that you can initially, how do I say this? It's not something that you can initially like kind of just say you did everything for it when there are probably other representatives, like state representatives, who are working very hard to do the same. So if you ask me, I don't believe that there should be anyone that gets the oversight. But if there is, it would probably be someone of a high a high class, of a high standard, someone who understands, the people. But again, I believe that there shouldn't be a, um, oversight.
Omar Bradley, your response to that?
Okay, anyways, let me talk about this.
Apologies.
I have one more thing to say.
Go ahead, represent.
I,
Go ahead, Congresswoman.
one more thing to say. Matter of fact, it's not even a thing to say. It's a whole speech, but it won't take that long.
Go ahead, Congresswoman. We got time. We got time.
And I say this today because I don't know some of these people. I don't know who you think you are. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. So let me go ahead and read my speech real quick. Um, Oh, let me read my speech. Okay, here we go, right here. Listen. In response to the Secretary of Homeland Security's quote unquote deport every African comment. So the Secretary of Homeland Security thinks deporting every African is a real idea. Come on now. Be so for real. Use your brain. All right. Let me see. So with all due respect, I want to just say this to him. Sir, sit your tail down. And see that's not policy. That's racism dressed up in a suit and tie, hiding behind a podium. And I have to ask, if he's got that much mouth, who had enough nerve to give him that microphone? Okay? Because this isn't just about what he said, it's about the fact that the president signed off on this and the Senate confirmed him. Come on now. When we can't even confirm a perfectly fine Secretary of Education, but we can confirm someone who's making comments about African Americans and Africans in general, or people of the darker skin color, darker skin, woo Jesus, darker skin tone. Now I expected better, and so should every black, African, or immigrant, or just a plain decent human being in this country. You don't get to threaten millions of hardworking people and then call it quote unquote national security. That's not national anything. That's just national white fear with the prep pity. Now, let me be clear, Africans aren't the threat. We're the nurses, the engineers, the teachers, the soldiers, the students. We are the reason this country still functions. And no amount of ignorance is going to change that. So, if your worldview can't handle the black excellence, that sounds like a you problem. And if you're more bothered by whose legacy from Ghana than by white nationalists with guns shooting at people, you don't need a federal job. You need a wake up call. And I'm telling you, I'm here to be that wake up call because
Mm.
I will make sure that your time in office, oh, trust me, I will make sure. Ooh, let me not. Okay, let me get back to the speech. Okay, so like I said, he needs a wake up call. So no, we're not sitting quietly. We're not waiting. We're not going to just let this country turn into your personal hate project. And if the White House and the Senate want to stand by and let this happen, then you're going to have to answer to us because we're not going anywhere. We built this. We bled for this. We are this. Now act like you know. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry.
All right,
Who the
folks,
who the
we're going
fuck
to take
is
a few
playing the
minutes, grab
trombone?
some water, breathe it out, and let just really what we all heard really sink in. But before we come back with more from Secretary Bradley and Congresswoman Proudie, I'll be pressing in a little deeper. We're going to talk about the road ahead and what parts of this plan can still be saved. And if there's any chance we rebuild something even stronger, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What the fuck are we doing?
And we're
Oh,
live.
okay. So you don't know that you made a comment about Africans. Okay, well I have it on tape. And but so basically does the whole person. Okay, all right. So let's just say, because I used to be a lawyer. So let's just say you did it. All right, and you expect ooh, I can't even talk because I'm so upset. You expect people to
Mm.
want you to be their secretary, and you just said something that possibly jeopardizes that. And you expect people to respect you bet
I
you
didn't
probably.
expect anything. I didn't say I expected anything.
So, okay.
Honestly, I just took a nap. I don't know what you're ranting about. And I
Okay,
really
so I'm
didn't hear it.
rambling. So I'm rambling about me running down your road because I know you know what you said. I'm rambling about
I
how
don't
you
just
made a
upset about
comment.
that. I really don't.
I'm rambling about how you made an inappropriate comment against Africans, probably against African American citizens.
I don't
That's what
remember
I'm
that.
saying.
Did I say
So you
that?
don't. So you're having dementia now.
Are you fucking
That's the best part. That's the
Okay,
best
whoa,
part.
whoa,
You're
whoa,
having
Hey,
dementia.
hey,
whoa,
hey, hey, whoa,
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 hey,
whoa,
That's the
hey.
best
whoa,
part. You're
whoa,
having
wait,
dementia.
yo.
I just, probably produce a bill. If you're having dementia, it seems like you don't need to be in office because you
Oh.
probably can barely remember what your first and last name is.
James
Hey,
So
Odell
what?
I'm
James
just gonna go to
Patrick
my
Odell
keyboard.
Jr.
I'm
James
just gonna
Patrick
go to
Odell
my
Jr. Okay.
keyboard and I'm gonna
Okay.
type up a nice little bill and I'm gonna make sure everybody, well, I'm gonna make sure every Democratic member votes yes on that bill. And since and
Why the fuck are you dick riding him now? The fuck?
One
Camera
second.
live.
Hold on a second.
You!
Can we? Oh, whoa!
I am
Okay,
General
hold on a
Omar
second.
Bradley. We are having
Hold
a
on.
outbreak.
Oh,
everyone please be quiet. Everyone please be quiet. Nobody's blaming anybody. We're having a simple conversation. I would like it if it was just between me and the quote unquote secretary and not everybody
I
jumped
don't want
in.
to have a con. I don't want to
Because
have
to
a
be
conversation
honest,
with
this
you.
was not even
I
this
don't
was
want to
not
have
this
a
was not
conversation with you.
okay, you
oh,
don't have to have a conversation, but guess what? I'm gonna talk about you to the
I
day you
don't want
die.
to have a
And I mean
conversation
that.
with you.
oh.
Okay,
And you can
you don't
talk
have to have
about
a
me. If you want my
listen.
signature or something, you can go to St. Elizabeth and ask for my
Listen.
signature. All right.
So you don't wanna talk to me, but yet you're still doing it and
I
you
mean,
haven't
I
let the
talk about
VCP
it,
go
but you
through.
don't want to.
I'm
Come on, man.
confused.
The cameras are
Wait, I'm
still rolling.
confused.
Are you?
Oh.
Are you? You're confused?
I am. You should know about
As
you should know
General Omar
all about
Bradley, guys, we are having an issue here where
you should know all about
we
confused because you
Yeah.
oh
Mhm. Yeah.
Cut
Mhm.
it. Cut it
could
early.
could we return back
Cut it.
to the podcast? It seems like someone has somehow hacked
Get
our
it.
live stream. I don't know what happened. I'll talk to
all
the
right,
FBI
Got
let's
a
about
little,
that.
return back to the
little rowdy
let's
here.
return back.
Yeah,
All
honestly
right,
unacceptable.
so as I was saying before, how previously before I was interrupted, that comment was very inappropriate. It was very disrespectful, and it should have never been said. But if I wanted to talk about someone's if I wanted to talk about someone's round, black, bush black, oompa loompa
Excuse
body,
me. Stop. Excuse me. Please
let me
stop.
not.
Excuse me. Please stop.
Okay, anyway, but if I wanted to talk about somebody with brown hair and glasses and Roblox characters smiling bigger than a rainbow, that would be a problem. It would be a problem, but it's not a problem when members of our cabinet body, of the executive branch, talks about deporting every African that's in this, whether you're legal, you're not legal. That's crazy to me. But to each his own. This was a
Exactly.
podcast. Why are
Right.
you saying?
Amen.
Why are you?
Rolling.
I really can't tell if you're or
Oh.
training stuff is
Man,
really
I
going
can't tell if
on
you're
right
a boy or a girl, bitch.
now. I'm really
Oh.
I
Oh.
support.
I
Oh.
support.
like a trans.
Okay.
I support you.
Whoa.
I
Matter of
support.
fact,
Whoa.
I have a
Shut
pen
up.
that goes right here.
Shut
I have
up.
a
Whoa.
pen that goes right
Shut
here.
up.
Really
You sound
close.
like a
Oh.
trans.
Just
Shut up.
Whoa. Okay.
I got
Hold on
all
a
of this
second.
on clip.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait, give me.
All right.
Let me just get 2 minutes. Let me just say something real quick, right? It sounds like some of the secretaries and some of the representatives are just not really getting along here. And I understand
Why would I
that
get
it's
along with
getting up.
someone who
Whoa! Let Casey
Hold
finish.
on. Rage baiting right
Hold
now.
on a second.
Can we
Hold on a
finish?
second.
Can we let
Just give
Casey
me one
finish?
second.
Next person to speak is getting server muted. Go ahead.
oh my god.
Carry on,
Just,
Casey.
just give me a second here, right? I understand that we're all a little heated up, and it's not fun but it gets to a point where I feel like we all should just come back. I feel like we're all at a 10 right now. I don't know how the hell we all got at a 10. Let's just bring it down to a 2.5. But you know what? Meet me halfway. That's all I'm saying. Meet me halfway at a 5. All right, let's just everyone talk one at a time so we can disagree and go back to agreeing here.
Six
I'm trying
bomb
to
rice,
figure out.
pussy, boomba clot, egg.
All I have to say, I want what's best for them. I'm talking to y'all
Okay.
as long as I can.
Okay, go ahead.
All I have to say.
Why is there feet on my screen?
That's all I have to. That's all I have.
And
All right.
Me
And-
and Senator Cortez and Secretary, whatever his name,
I'm just
may
rolling my
have.
feet together, ma'am.
We may have disagreement, but at the end of the day, oh my God, who toes is showing?
oh,
I'm just rolling
so
my
I'm gonna jump on in here. So
Okay,
God,
So,
them
as-
toes look
as
so
Secretary,
Oh.
we may have disagreement.
You're rubbing my feet together.
Yes, no, we're not doing that in general.
This is a
and doing a
Rub
podcast,
my feet together.
I am trying to
Okay.
host.
Okay.
I'm trying to
I'm
host a
okay.
podcast
Have you
here.
seen yourself in
Okay.
the mirror, Roy?
All right.
Guys, this is why you don't do an
Uh,
open podcast.
Again, all I have to say, all I have to say is I want
Okay.
what's best for the American people.
Correct.
Me and the senator,
Uh-huh.
me and the secretary may have completely different views on what's best for the American people. But at the end of the day, we all have to work together. So if we can't work together, that proves how incompetent we are. And I'm talking about myself too, because I just showed y'all how incompetent I can be because I just argued with another leader of my Democratic Party, but not only that, someone
Yeah.
I supported. And see, that's not what I strive for. So I do apologize to you, Mr. Cortez.
Right.
And
Well,
I really don't want to
apologize.
apologize. Okay, I really don't want to apologize to the secretary, but I will because I'm that person. But all I
Okay.
have to say is what he did was just that's on me. And I think it should be, if we were in the house right now, I would ask for it to be strictly, but since we're not in the house, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
The only thing
Okay.
I can say is, if you support someone like that, or if you're in the party like that, it goes to show are, how much you want to follow someone just because of a title, just because of the. See, I have always wanted to be attorney general, so yeah, Mr. Robert, I have always wanted to be attorney general. I have actually took the bar 3 times on roadblock. Don't ask me how that. It was a whole different year, but that's neither here or there. I have took the bar 3 times, and I finally passed just like 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Anyways, but I have always wanted to be an attorney general. Now, see, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to change the party to Republican just because just because the president gives me the attorney general role. I'm not going to change the party to them Republican just because the president wants me to be White House press secretary. I'm not going to change my party to Republican just because he wants me to be chief of staff. What I am going to do is stay true to my party and remain my party because I learned this the hard way. Trust is earned, not given. So you have to, But yeah, that's all I have to say about the situation.
Well, let's get back to it, right? So I'm going to bring it right on back to education and our kids, right? Here's the problem that we are having, right? Like I said, among both sides of the aisle, right? Republican, Democratic, Independent, whatever party you are with, we have a problem that our kids are failing, that the crime rate is so high that is no longer with the 25-year-olds to 30-year-olds. It's with our 14 to 18-year-olds now. And the problem that we're seeing is currently in Baltimore, the mayor has produced summer jobs and summer systems where those kids are no longer on the streets. And guess what? Crime rate dropped. I think it was 23%. I want to bring that to America.
Not
Right.
really.
I want
You
us
know,
to be able. Go ahead, Casey.
You know what I think? I think it wasn't the content of the plan that people were scared about.
Mhm.
I think it was the consequence of success
Yep.
that we was actually achieving here. That's what I think.
And that's what it could have been right there, because the majority of these Congress people voted for a crime bill, right? That put majority of these people in
Oh,
jail.
wait,
And
guys,
guess
I
what?
have a lunch to get. I have a lunch to get through, so I can,
Okay.
show my face.
You go ahead to the lunch
Excuse me,
here.
I don't. Let me get in the camera. Hold up. Is the camera right here?
I'll back it up for you.
Go
Go-
close on my face. Go close.
Go to the This Will Defend table. Get to the This Will Defend table. The table in
The what?
the table that nope.
Nope.
The This Will
Oh,
Defend
baby
the
boy.
little tiny table right there.
Oh.
Don't stand on the table.
Where you at?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Get off the table right
Hey,
there.
babe.
All right. Let me
Yep.
get your good side there. Let me get your good side.
Okay, come in closer. Come in closer.
Oh.
Closer. Closer.
Oh.
Closer.
Oh.
Closer.
Okay.
Closer.
Oh.
Jesus.
You see how it's okay, wait. I'll go back.
About to break the follicles on the
Okay,
goddamn
yeah, go
camera.
right there. You see how
What
it's
the hell is that?
Okay. You see how it show my leg?
Uh-huh.
Where is it at? I couldn't find it.
Just slow down. Go to your left a little bit. What? Go to your right. Left. No. Okay. My right, your left. My right, your left. Okay, now you're just doing 3. Right there. It's good. Right there.
Your representative. Let me.
Oh, where the? He went in the
I'm
camera.
your representative. I'm your representative, and I want to strive for success. Thank you, Congresswoman. Proud and I approve this message.
Oh. Thank you,
A little
Congresswoman.
commercial over there.
And
Get a video of me walking out now.
Oh,
Get a video of me
she's
walking
like
out.
5'4".
Double cheeked up on a Sunday. Double cheeked up on a Sunday.
on a Sunday. Not even a damn Sunday. But okay, so Wednesday. All
Oh,
right.
no, baby, you were supposed to follow me outside.
Oh no, man.
Oh, what is this?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Casey and Bradley are back, right? And we're gonna again talk about what I was saying before, right? There should be no problem on both sides of the table. I'm bringing
Shake this.
You know what's wild? You know what just really makes me mad? Everyone at the table agreed that we had a problem, right? We all agree we had a problem, but the moment a solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
A moment that someone opened the book to a solution, shows up with a price tag, people scattered. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why we all do that. I don't understand why someone has a solution from the problem to fix it, but we all just rip up the pages like it never happened. I don't understand why we do that, Bradley. Bradley, tell us why we do that. Why we do
Well,
that? I
I'll
understand
tell you
why we
right
do that.
here. So, like I said, majority of these people investing in crime bills, investing in prisons, right? So, and I was noticing this a minute ago and a while back when I was in the military, that majority of our young black youth are getting locked up, right? And if you didn't know, many people don't know this, prisons actually produce money. It puts money in people's pockets. So, us being able to reduce the crime rate, right, by bringing these kids into the school system, into these after-school activities, the crime rate would have went down. Prison would have been making more money. My job is to make sure that juvenile centers aren't full. In the state of Louisiana, in my city, Baton Rouge, there's 3 juvenile facility centers that are full where they're sending juveniles to other parishes. I had some juveniles contact me as when they were trying to join the military, contact me and say, General, I got caught up with some bad people, but they're not keeping me in Baton Rouge. They're shipping me to Texas, that far away. Baton Rouge is 8 hours away from Texas. 4 hours if you're in Lake Charles. 3 hours if you're out the Shreveport, I think. Right? It's crazy on what these people are doing to our kids. When we bring that solution to them, they sit here and they take it out of either context, out of proportion, whatever they took it, and simply don't allow our kids to grow where they need to be. And it's honestly absurd. You understand? It should not be like this. Our kids should be able to live a good, normal, decent life, right, with an education system that works. I brought a plan that worked. Okay, I brought a plan that was going to bring kids back into schools, after school activities, bring physical education back into schools, better food, better education, the ability to get an associate's degree out of high school, the ability to enlist in the military in high school, go to boot camp in the summer, which most boot camps are 8 weeks unless you go to the military Marine Corps, which is 13 weeks. You come back in the fall and finish your academic studies, right? And then continue.
Yep.
We were bringing that. The Navy even we were going to attach. The Navy has Sea Cadets, right? We were going to attach that to some schools. ROTC programs being brought into more lower funded districts so they can get more federal funding, right? We were bringing such programs into districts that needed it the most, right? Because as you see, many people understand that the federal Department of Education deals with a lot of money, Pell Grants and so and so. But then you also have to remember state departments, in order, I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, someone, right, that a state department could take over a school district or take over a Pacific school like they did in Louisiana, that they just got capital. It was the biggest argument ever. They got capital high back from the state because test scores were so low that the state took it from the district. The State Department can do that, but clearly if the State Department is not funding the schools that they have right now that's clearly underfunded, what makes you think when we hand the department back over to them that they're going to start now or start then? They won't. Because obviously most districts believe in charter and private schools. Me personally, people can't afford it. Public schools where it needs to be. My parents went to public schools. The parents before them went to public schools. They have a great education, right? Doctors multiple doctors I know went to public school, got great education, smart people. But now our public school system is filling our kids with woke agendas and filling their minds, teaching them not how to critically think. Kids can no longer critically think, can't form their own sentences without using a phone. And I say, if that's the case, let's use what they know, right? Let's use that AI, let's use that phone, let's use that computer to bring them back to us, right?
That's right.
If they need to use their telephone, right? It's not a crutch that my mom used to say. It's not a crutch. They're not handicapped if they have to use their phone. Because like I said yesterday, the wheel was invented for a reason. Everything on this earth, everything that we use, everything that's sold fast was invented for a reason, right? It wasn't to handicap us. It was to make our lives a little bit easier. Because who's trying to sit in Walmart's long old line doing doing algebra, right? Who's trying to stand there when I could pull out my calculator and I can do 4 times 58? Easy money, right? When you could go online and make money online using my phone. Majority of the young people are dropping out of school and doing this Cash App trick where they're making money from helping Cash App. Majority of people are learning that Netflix actually pays people to sit at home and watch movies and rate them. Majority of people are learning what Rotten Tomatoes is just a bunch of people that's been rated to sit at home watching movies and grade it. Many people are now learning that. And I want them to be able to get inside of that world instead of going home, watching anime, going to school, failing out, starting drugs, becoming those woke pink-haired people you see on New York subway screaming at law enforcement, right? We don't want that person to be screaming at law enforcement saying I'm a sovereign citizen, because they can't comprehend, right? They can't comprehend the Constitution. They see that just if you're a foreign nationalist, you get diplomatic immunity. So they go on a traffic stop and say, I'm a foreign sovereign or whatever, and think that the diplomatic immunity laws apply to them. They don't. You were born an American citizen. You are an American. The laws were applied to you or applied to you, right? Because they can't comprehend it.
To go back on our last podcast, or what we talked about early, you said that, if we're not here, the kids is the next generation. They're gonna have to step up. When we go down, they stepping up. Every vote has a voice behind it, and our kids is one of them. We say kids are the future, but we make a budget cuts like this, and it just makes everything falls down to shambles. And I don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't understand why we think that we can do this. I don't understand why people come up and say, this kid right here or this kid right here has a voice. Then why we don't let them use it? If AI is going to help them, let them use it. I don't understand why teachers say, "Oh, that kid's cheating." No. Let me tell you what's
He's
going on. Let me
smart.
tell you what's going on.
Go ahead.
That kid figured out a way how to gain that answer. That kid figured out a way how to make a problem turn into a solution.
Yes.
Why are we stopping them? Why are we
They're
stopping
thinking.
them
We're
from
stopping them
gaining
from
the
thinking.
knowledge? Exactly. I don't understand why we're doing it. I don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to remove this solution from the problem that we already have. I don't get it.
It was terrible. Okay,
It
absolutely
was.
terrible. Very ill and legitimate of any congressman to remove such a department. At first, I was 100% against the Department of Education. Until I looked at it and I saw that we could actually make a change. We could be something
Yes.
better and bigger. Right? If a secretary that had a spine like myself sat there and pushed an agenda against the state governments, to push an agenda against the local governments, to push an agenda against the school board governments, right? The school boards, to get these kids the education that they need, the funding that they needed, the programs that they needed to get out. Like I said, there's jobs that are needed to be filled, right? Construction people, right? Welders, plumbers. We were offering these kids so many outs that any person that denies these kids these opportunities should go to jail, right? This is, like I said in my agenda, this is national security, right? Because if there's no one to do the job, we're failing, right? There's a person, every person in China has a job, has a purpose. If they don't, they're not there, right? Everybody has a job, has a purpose. There's not a single position that is not filled or being occupied. We have so much bureaucratic tape we have to cut to be able to. I want to get the kids that need us jobs. I want to make sure that they're able to do it. I want to make sure they're able to think critically and find a solution. If AI was a solution, good. If using paper and pencil to write down that algebraic problem was their solution, good. They're thinking, right? We shouldn't stop them from thinking. We shouldn't stop them from finding and utilizing tools, right? See, in Vietnam, the solution was, if you can't fix it, find something that works with it, right? You had a problem that you could fix. You thought, if I bring this socket for this particular tool and attach a screw on the inside of it, can it make this bigger lug nut turn? They thought about that, right? For the nuke, they thought if I did this would happen, because they noticed something and they found something that made them think about a solution, right? The microwave was created accidentally because he's noticed something wrong and he put chocolate near it, and guess what? It melted. That's them thinking. Why are we stopping them? Why are we stopping them from using the brain, using the abilities that we, for one, enable them to have? Right? Majority of the problems we're having is that we enable them to have it, but don't allow them to use it. Right? So when they get in the real world, they are really handicapped, because now they're like, I just spent 4 years in high school, I forgot all that shit, but you know who didn't forget that shit? AI. So now when I ask them a question to critically think, they instantly pull out their phone. But if they would have had AI in school, where they would have had the 4 years to learn how to use AI, and AI would have been breaking shit down for them, making them understand how to critically think, then we wouldn't be having these freaking problems. And that's what a problem
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Too much AI, sure, I can see how that becomes a problem. But enough AI, that's where the answer is right there. Mm-hmm. Enough AI, just enough.
Well, let's say controlled AI in the school.
Correct, control AI. Whether or not Congress believe in this dream, the kids still do, and that's for me, that's what I care about. The kids still do, and that's what this fight is really for. It's not for Congress or people trying to do this. It's for the kids. It's for the generation that's coming up to be. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's for the kids. You know, and this is the part that irritates me. Education shouldn't be something we debate every election cycle about. It shouldn't be something that we try to see, how can we bring this down? No, it should be the one thing that we agree on every single day. It should be like, oh, I like that idea. That right there, that idea, that's gonna make education better. That right there, that's gonna make education something I would like to see. for once in my life, before I leave this world, that's what I like to see. I would like for us to agree with education about things. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. If we can fight for that, we can be making progress. We will not be going backwards. We will be going forward. That's what I want to see. Omar, you think that's going to happen? You think I can see that move forward instead of going backwards?
Probably not in our time. Probably not, because like you see right now, that we have senators and representatives that get in DC. And what crazy is they're on the same party, in the same party, arguing and fighting. Right? It makes no sense.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Your agendas are supposed to align, right? They're not aligning their agendas. They're not making any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever, and it's honestly disturbing that no one can get on the same page, you know. And in our maybe the next secretary, the Department of Secretary, Department of Education secretary, apologies. Maybe the next one, maybe the next president. But right now, I don't think we're gonna see change, because in order for us to see change, we have to truly get to the Congress, right? And majority of the Congress people are fighting about stuff that do matter, like the Secretary of Homeland Security being accused of saying racial slurs, like the Secretary of State being called incompetent. We were on the call with the Chief of Staff of the Army, and it didn't go too well. You know, he didn't seem all there. You know, and that's another thing that I wanted to bring, as you saw on my agenda. I wanted to bring literacy tests to federal government. I wanted to bring the literacy test to federal government, where they would have to see if they were competent enough, smart enough, intelligent enough to be able to read and understand what they're reading and writing. Right? You cannot push an agenda against someone if you don't truly understand the agenda you're pushing. Okay? Right? So I can't walk in and say I'm going to fire 10 generals from the United States Army, right? And then go, and someone asks me why, and I can't articulate it properly to them because I want to. That's not an answer, right? If I was asked that question, why would you fire 10 generals from the United States Army? Bureaucratic oversight. In World War II, we had less generals than we have now, and guess what? We won that war. Quickly. Swiftly. 4 years when they predicted the war would last 18 to 20. General Eisenhower, belay that. I'll do what General John C. Marshall did, who was the Chief of Staff of the Army at the time. Cut staff. Right? Cut his entire staff and rebuild it with younger and brighter minds. Because these old people been in the service too long. They got this algorithm in their head already that this works and it's already to do it. When I bring a young mind in there, right? When I brought a young man in my office to help me with my task as SOCOM general, that young mind brought a different thing. President Donald Trump, our 45th president, right? He had this general called General Raising Cane's. He tells a story a lot about General Raising Cane, right? That he went down there to Iraq and sat at the table with generals, lieutenant colonels, and all those people, and he asked them, the lower ranking generals, when he was a lieutenant general at this time, he didn't ask people at the Pentagon, he asked the lieutenant general who was in combat at that time, what do you think, how fast do you think we can get this situation over with? And the general looked at the president and said, a certain amount of time. Easy day. If we attack them from here, here, and here, they'll be done, we'll be home. It's the different mindset that sets us, the younger people, and the people now apart, right? It skipped a whole entire generation, maybe 2, of how to critically think and understand what's happening inside of the world, right? And we want to acknowledge that the simple fixes could have just been this agenda, where we could have got the kids that are in school right now, let them pass, but the next generation of 3rd graders, the ones that's promoting in 2nd grade, would have got this agenda, would have been sitting here having the resources necessary to make themselves Americans, true Americans, working Americans, right? Because we just had 2025 just had the biggest graduating class, and I believe it was 10 years, maybe longer. I will have to look it up. Maybe I think it was actually 25. The biggest graduating class in 10 to 25 years, right? And guess what? How many of them went to college? Guess how many of them went to the workforce? Guess how many of them are now sitting in their mother's house, mother's basement, making TikToks? I'm gonna tell you now, the ones that didn't go to college is more than the ones that did, right? And that's a problem for me, because now I got these young bright minds who could have been something, sitting in their mom's house making TikToks, working at McDonald's, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A. And I'm gonna tell you right now, for the some people that didn't, right? I'm not gonna give you that arm, that handicap. I'm gonna tell you when I see you at McDonald's, because you could have had this. We're not here to give it to you because you could have did it yourself. But we're gonna make sure you have the resources to do it. But since you wanted to go and not help yourself, right? I'm gonna tell you I like my fries hot and salted. But if you want to be one of those kids that actually want it but didn't have the resources to get it, I got you. But if you ones that didn't want it, that had the resources, like those private school students that I've met, that had the resources, had the parents, had the funding, but still wanted to be what they call them, suburban baby, still wanted to be a gangster, guess what? There's no place for you in this world. Now, let me not even say that. There's no place for you in this economy because you're not contributing to it. The only way this country stays great, the only way this country remains free, is if these young people, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, go to a college. Don't even have to go to a trade school, go to a college, get welding certifications, get a degree in political science. The only way you're gonna keep it the way it needs to be is if you understand what the Constitution says, right? If you understand what it truly means to be an American, okay? And that's the points that we're trying to make here, right? We want these young kids to understand that working, it ain't so bad. But doing it on the streets is where the problem comes in, right? And that's why we asked the Department of Homeland Security. That's why we asked the USDA, why we're asking the DOD to all get aboard this plan. And now I'm not secretary, but like I said, the plan is still in motion. The agenda is still in motion. We can still keep it going if the Department of Defense, the USDA, the HSS, and all these other agencies that we asked and called upon keep it going. But go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's at this point, it's time for adults to stop being foolish and stop thinking about how high can I be or how much the title is, and let's just start thinking about the kids. Let's start thinking about their future, because I mean, when I get old, and I want my kids to think about me, I don't want them to leave out on me. I believe Omar feels the same way. I do believe that, you know, when he gets down and he can't start, you know, getting up no more and all this stuff, he want his kids to be there. And most importantly, I want, you know, AI to be there too. For goodness sake, I like to order a McDonald's cheeseburger from an iPad, and just like that, it comes up to me on a robot. I want these kids to have a goal and a purpose. I don't want them to think, well, here go politics being childish again. I don't want that to happen. I don't. And I don't think Omar wants that either. Like I stated before, and I say it again, it gets to a point. It gets to a point, where should we draw the line? Where should we stop being childish? Where should we stop going back and forth with the same party that you're in? I don't understand what's that going on about. But that just shows that we can't maintain it. We can't deal with it. We can't solve it. We can't be the solution. We always have to be the problem. If it's not problem A, it's problem B. If it's not problem B, it's problem C. I don't get it, and I guess I'll just never understand it in this generation. I don't understand if we will ever grow up. I don't understand if we're going to fight for what's right, or, you know, we're just going to cause more problems and, you know, destroy more that's the stuff we need. In my personal opinion, I do believe we needed the Department of Education. I do believe we needed that secretary. I do believe in all this stuff because I know what's right. I don't care. Let me say this. If I had $100 billion, right? If I had $100 billion right now, I will fund that funds towards the Department of Education because I know what's right. I know what we can achieve, and I know what we can do here. But most people don't see it. We can't come together. We all just gotta disperse. We all just gotta not be the. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we do this. I don't understand why we do the things we do. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say it's everyone. Some people is fighting for what's right. Some people is doing the right things. But others, Others, I don't think they should be in office. I don't think they should be there sitting down, because I know one thing: that pen is not writing for good. It's not writing for what's right. It's writing to destroy. It's writing to destroy what's next in the future.
Right.
That's what that pen is doing. That pen is not there for joy and positive. Positive. It's not. God damn it! It's not. It's there to destroy our future. Most important, it's there to destroy our kids, and I don't understand why we're doing that.
Right.
I don't understand why.
Well, alrighty. So it's just astonishing to me that that we could treat and our kids so disrespectfully. But as we end this podcast, I just want to say this right here isn't just a chapter for me, right? It's the same mission, just a different battlefield. As I was nominated for Secretary of Education, right? I wanted to treat this department like this Pentagon. No weak points, no excuses, right? No surrendering at all. I was bringing the same warfighting spirit that led me through combat, led me through the front lines, into the heart of every American, into the American education, into the American child, and the American spirit. Because when we fail to teach our people, we fail to protect our country. And like I said, this is national security at its best. These young people don't know how to read, write, or comprehend, can't think critically when they're sitting to a war zone and their brain turns off and can't think. That's a problem. When they're sitting on the street in an active gunfight as a police officer and can't think, that's a problem. When they can't think of a solution for anything, that's a problem. Right. But as we end this podcast, I just want to thank you for listening. Casey, take it away.
Yep, you heard it, folks. You heard it from two leaders, one who drafted the blueprint and one who demanded the hard questions. Now, they might not be in the same titles here, but they're on the same side of the vote. But make no mistake, they're on the same side of the purpose. Secretary Bradley brought the vision, and Congressman Proudie brought accountability. And in between them, there are the students still waiting for adults to choose progress over politics. This dream didn't die, it was paused. And whether it returns as a new bill, a louder movement, or a mandate from the people, this part is still unwritten. And for the first time, we break down growing push in Congress, a motion to impeach James Odell Jr., Secretary of Homeland Security, for high crimes and misdemeanors. What does it mean? Who's behind it? And how does this deep virus here, does the scandal go? This has been Casey McNichol and Omar Bradley. This has been the Education Reckoning. Until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and never stop learning.